How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video on my channel. Now today we have got my Championship 2018-2019 predictions. Now basically, if you guys are subscribed to the channel, I have not uploaded a video in absolutely ages, like 2 months or so. But the new season's here now, so I'm going to start doing videos probably around just QPR. I'm going to be doing vlogging for QPR because I'm going to be going to the majority of the games. So hopefully there will be some more uploads on this channel. It's just I've just really not bothered uploading just for ages. But hopefully now I can make a return and start uploading to this channel. So just before I do get into things, if you could drop a like on the video, that would be greatly appreciated. Also do subscribe to the channel as well if you are new around here, if you're interested in like QPR vlogging and just doing Championship videos in general. And also I should probably apologise if my predictions are terrible. I've not got the greatest knowledge on the majority of the Championship teams. I know like some of the players and stuff, like I've watched their games because whenever like there's a Championship game on TV I watch it. But I don't have like the greatest knowledge on other teams. Mainly I have my main knowledge for QPR because I pretty much watch them every week. So starting things off, we'll start off with my bottom 3 teams that I've predicted. And in 24th we've gone for Rotherham, 23rd I've gone for Bolton, and then 22nd I have gone for Reading. So we'll start off with Rotherham. Last time they were in the Championship they did struggle a lot. They got like a really low points total, finished bottom by quite a margin. So I do think they'll struggle again in the Championship. I don't think they'll do as bad as they did last time they were in there, but I do still think they will get relegated. And in 23rd I've gone for Bolton. Last season very narrowly avoided relegation. Literally scored like 2 goals in like the last couple of minutes of the game to keep them up, which is pretty decent for them. But I do think they'll struggle again this season. They've signed a few new players, but I still don't think their team is strong enough to survive this season. So I've gone for them in 23rd. And then in 22nd I've gone for Reading. Now, maybe a bit of a weird shout going for Reading, but I don't think the business they've done is that great. They've signed a few aging players like John O'Shea, or just a few interesting transfers. They could very easily stay up, but I've just gone for them in 22nd. So let me know what you think of that. Could be a bit of a dodgy one there. Now the next set of teams that I've gone for, just kind of like towards like the towards like the bottom of the mid-table section and just about avoiding relegation. I've gone for in 21st Wigan, 20th Hull, then 19th Blackburn, 18th Ipswich, 17th Birmingham, and then 16th my club QPR. So we'll start off with Wigan. I just got a feeling they'll stay up. They've got a few alright players in the team. They've got players like Will Grigg, who did very well last season in League One. Then they also have like Nick Powell as well, who's a very decent player. And last season in the FA Cup as well, they did do very well. So they impressed me a lot last season. So I do think they'll narrowly avoid relegation, but it will be a struggle for them this season. But I've gone for them just about staying up. Then in 20th we've gone for Hull, and again I do think they'll struggle this season. They finished like something like 18th somewhere around there last season. So I do think they'll struggle again this season. Like the owners just really aren't that great at Hull. Like a lot of Hull obviously have problems with the owners over like the last couple of years now. So I just don't think it'll be able to go well this season. But I don't think they'll have a better season than last season, but I do think they'll be able to stay up just about. Then in 19th we have Blackburn, who again, they had a very good season in League One. I've watched a few of their games, they were very decent. Bradley Dack especially was amazing for them, really. Got the Player of the Year in the Championship, in League One, sorry. So I think he can probably get some good form in the Championship as well. So I do think Blackburn will be able to stay up as well. Then we've gone for Ipswich. Got rid of Mick McCarthy recently, at the end of the season, and they brought in Paul Hurst, who was the Shrewsbury manager. Did a great job there. We'll have to see how he does in this at this level. Never managed in the Championship before, so you don't really know what to predict with Ipswich. I've also got Martin Wycorn, who might be leaving, and he was a great player for them last season. So I've gone for them in 18th. I do think they'll stay up, but I don't think they're going to be really pushing the top half of the playoffs this season, in my opinion. So in 17th we've gone for Birmingham. I think they're going to have a better season than last season, but still not great for them. There's just so many strong teams in the Championship, it's just unbelievable. When you get to like the top, it gets very difficult to predict. But Birmingham could very easily finish very high. They're a very good club. But I do think they'll finish 17th. That's where I put them. Then I've gone for 16th. I've gone for my club QPR. This depends on if we keep Luke Freeman or not. Right now he's linked to moving to like Middlesbrough or West Brom. I really do hope we keep hold of him, and if we are going to sell him, I hope we're going to get a decent fee for him. Like we need at least like 8 million at least for him, because he was like one of the top assisters last season in the Championship, and all around was one of our best players, if not the best player. Also we've got some very good young talent coming through, the likes of Paul Smith and Zabera Eze as well, and then the brightest Sarri Salmon, especially Eze though, is a very decent player. I could honestly see him like moving to a big club after this season. If he has a decent season for us, he's only got 1 year left in his contract. We desperately need to get him on a new contract. But if he has a good season, which I do think he will, he'll go on to a big Premier League team because he's just got that quality to move on. So we'll have to see how he does this season. But I think we'll be able to stay up. I think our squad's strong enough, definitely, to stay up and get a comfortable mid-table finish. So then we'll go from 15th to 10th now, kind of like the mid-table to top half teams here. We've gone for Bristol City in 15th, then Norwich 14th, 13th Millwall, 12th Sheffield Wednesday, 11th Sheffield United, and then 10th Preston. So starting off with Bristol City, they have lost probably their strongest player in Bobby Reid. Also, Joe Bryan's linked to be moving away as well. So depending on that, they could maybe finish lower than what I've predicted. But their team overall is still very strong. They were really good last season. They were pushing the playoffs for most of the season, but they kind of dropped off towards the end, finished like 10th or something like that. So I do think they'll finish a bit lower than last season, but I still think they'll have no relegation issues. But the team overall is pretty decent, and I expect them to have an alright season again. Then I've gone for Norwich in 14th, pretty similar season to last season I've gone for. They've made a few decent signings, but they have got rid of James Maddison, who is no doubt their strongest player as well, so I do think they'll have a similar season to last season. Then I've gone for 13th in as Millwall. I don't think they're going to have a strong season as last time. I think they had a really good run. They were kind of average towards like up until like December or January. From then onwards they were really decent, but I just don't think they're going to be able to replicate the form they had last season, as there's so many strong teams in the Championship, and I just think Millwall does struggle to compete again this season. 12th have gone for Sheffield Wednesday. Now, they didn't have a great season last season. They had Forestieri out. They've not really made too many transfers this season, but I just think their squad's good enough to improve on last season, so I think they'll get back into the top half again. I think they'll finish 12th. Then Sheffield United in 11th. Again, it's kind of similar. They were pushing the playoffs just like Millwall, but well, it was more at the start of the season, really. They were like right at the top of the start of last season, but they kind of just dropped off. So I think they'll have a decent season. Like 11th is a decent finish for them, especially with so many strong teams being in the Championship. So I think they'll finish 11th. Then we've gone for in 10th Preston, who they've been decent for like the last 3 or 4 seasons now. So I expect them to be good again. I just don't think they'll be able to get the playoffs. I don't think their squad's quite strong enough. But they're a very good team, Preston. I expect them to do well again this season. Then we'll go for the 3 teams that are just about going to miss out on the playoffs, in my opinion. In 9th, I've gone for Brentford. Then in 8th, I've gone for Aston Villa. And then in 7th, I've gone for Leeds. So, starting off with Brentford, they've had, again, it's kind of similar to Preston. They've had a good run, they've had a good 3 seasons, probably, where they've just about missed out on the playoffs. I think the same's going to happen again. They've got a very decent team, but I just don't think they're going to be able to make it to the playoffs, in my opinion. Then in 8th we've got Aston Villa. It's a bit of a difficult one to predict. We don't know if Jack Grealish is going to go. We don't really know about the situation they're in at the moment with all this financial fair play and all like the money they've spent and the wages they've been paying for everyone. Still, it's a lot to change yet, maybe at Villa from now to the start of the season. So we'll have to see how they do. They could do really well, or they could do pretty badly. So I've gone for 8th. I think they'll just about miss out on the playoffs, but they could very another good season. Then in 7th, I've gone for Leeds, who I just about think will miss out. They've got a very strong team. They've recently made the signing of Douglas from Wolves, who was very good last season. They've got a lot of assists. Surprised Wolves actually let him go, to be honest. And they got him for like 3 million, I think, as well, which is a very good transfer. I just think they'll just about miss out. They had a decent start, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they had a decent start last season, up until like December, then just completely collapsed and finished like mid-table in the end. So I think this season they'll have a better season than last season, but I think maybe this season is maybe a season 2, too near, really. I think maybe one more season, then they could be pushing the playoffs and pushing promotion. But overall, I think they'll have a much better season than last season. Now then, as my playoff teams, I've decided to go for in 6th, Swansea, 5th, then Nottingham Forest, 4th, Middlesbrough, and then 3rd, West Brom. So we'll start off with Swansea. Obviously, recently got relegated from the Premier League. Didn't really have a great season at all. They brought in a new manager who came from Ostersund's. Maybe this is a bit of a risky prediction, predicting Swansea to get into the playoffs again, or get into the playoffs, but I've just got a feeling they'll be able to do it. They still have a very strong squad. Alfie Mawson's still there at centre back, who was very decent for them last season. There's still some very decent players. Jordan Ayew, I don't know if he'll be leaving or not, but he again is a very good player. So I just think they'll be able to sneak into the playoffs, but I'm really not too sure, because there's some other strong teams as well, as I said before, kind of pushing for the playoffs. So maybe they can miss out, maybe they can get it, but I've gone for them just about sneaking in. Then in 5th, I've gone for Nottingham Forest. Very big spenders this window. Like, brought in a lot of players. Recently brought in Lewis Graben as well, which could be a very good signing. He was one of the top scorers last season, so a very nice transfer in bringing him, and I expect him to do very well as well. They've also brought in Jack Robinson as well from QPR, which obviously he didn't want to sign a new contract, so we've let him go. He's gone to Nottingham Forest, and they've brought in a few other Portuguese players as well. And well, you saw what happened with Wolves last season, how well they did with their Portuguese players. So the same could very easily happen with Nottingham Forest. Then in fourth, I have gone for Middlesbrough. So Middlesbrough, under Tony Pulis, you expect them to be very solid at the back, and you expect them to do well this season. They could maybe even push automatic promotion. They've brought in players like Aidan Flint. They're rumoured to be signing Matt Phillips as well, which could be a very good transfer for them. So I expect Middlesbrough to do well, and under Tony Pulis there, you just know they're going to be decent this season. They're going to be, in my opinion, they're definitely going to get the playoffs, and they could even be pushing automatic promotion. Then in third, we did have West Brom. So obviously another team that recently got relegated. They do have a very good team, West Brom do. They've brought in a lot of players this window as well. So I do expect them to do decent this season. I think they'll just about miss out on the automatic promotion places, but I'm pretty confident in them at least getting the playoffs. Then as the top two teams, I have gone for Derby and Stoke. Now Derby recently obviously appointed Frank Lampard. They've brought in a few decent players. They've got a few loan signings in. Harry Wilson, who did very well at Hull last season, could be a very decent signing for them. They've brought in a lot of alright players, Derby, as well. Obviously last season they did pretty well. Kind of dropped off towards the end, like they only just managed to get into the playoffs, but I do expect them to do well. Maybe I'm pushing it too far saying they'll get automatic promotion, maybe they'll just get the playoffs, but I've gone for them in second. I think they have a very strong team, and under Frank Lampard, they could do very, very decent this season. Definitely a team to watch. Then in first, we've gone for Stoke. I just think they're too strong for the Championship really with some of the players that they've got. Like Joe Allen he was decent for Stoke last season, even though they did go down. And I'm pretty sure he did sign a new contract as well, so he's going to be a very good player in the Championship. They've also got decent players like Chipo Moting. Ryan Shaw will be a very solid centre-back in the Championship. So, still, even Jack Butland's not left them yet, which is a bit weird. So if he actually stays, if they're in the Championship, they've got a great goalkeeper there, like England's second-choice keeper in their goal in the Championship, which is pretty ridiculous. So I've gone for them in first. Let me know your thoughts on these predictions in the comment section down below. I've probably got a lot of these wrong, but we'll have to look back at the end of the season and see how I did. Anyway guys, I hope you have enjoyed the video. Drop a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe down below as well for Championship content, and then QPR vlogs as well, which I'll be uploading obviously when the new season starts. Can't wait for the new season. I might even do some Premier League predictions as well if you guys did enjoy this video. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.